one of the people that we interviewed had lots of stuffed animals and tigers' heads and hundreds of clocks. Again, I just took that literally, and the whole room, every picture is about animals, and just use that to try and capture a real identity of people, rather than put in the obvious, but actually listen and to what the people have said in those interviews, and try and really capture their personalities within the sets, and break them down so that they don't look like show homes, but they look like real living spaces, and that's a great challenge, but it's great fun as well to try and capture a character within an environment.
Well, my name is Osman, and I am working on this project as a design placement. But what sort of really made me choose this project to work on was the fact that my family have had corner shops all their life while they've been in this country, and it's just sort of nice that there is actually a production that's celebrating, you know, the heritage of the corner shop and how it's changed over the years, and the fact that it is going into decline sort of makes it, you know, all the more worthwhile to celebrate it. Yeah.
Who does work on the cans? Yeah. Yes. You can come round with us. Yeah, I'm going to new. Okay. Yeah. So I'll be like, no, tech runs all day tomorrow. Like, we're just doing another run. Right. But is that right? Yeah. But it's looking fantastic. But yeah, Sheen will be coming in to play. Yeah. Yes. It is looking brilliant.
It was dark, dusty, and damp. The previous owners, they had left it in such a state, no sense of pride.
All right, it's a shoebox-sized shop, but from this shop, we will sell to these people, these very people in this place, our place. We will sell the whole world of British journalism.
Fountains, spices, rice and peas,
Greeting cards,
Barley sugars,
pearl anniversary cards,
hallelujah,
silver anniversary cards,
rice and dal,
penny bars,
kielbasa, kieposy, kieszonis,
cards for all occasions.
I think one of the key things that you have to remember is that there were over 30 interviews and therefore over 30 hours worth of material. And the only people I think that have listened to all of that is myself and Francis and possibly Bobby and Rochi, who's the writer. And so what we have to try and do is make sure that the themes that we think are important are included in it, and that everything is being reflected, all the material is being reflected. Obviously you can't get, you know, over 30 hours worth of material down into 1 hour. So you have to edit, and you have to look for the commonality that starts to emerge. And one of the things that became quite clear really early on was that there was, despite the different backgrounds, despite the different ethnicities, despite the different countries that people had come from, their experiences were really very much the same, from the traditional white corner shop through to even the most modern that we've covered so far, the Polish and the newer immigrant communities. Everybody still seems to have the same experience, and one of those key things is the amount of hours that they have to put in, how they have to adapt to their environment, how they have to adapt to their community around them. And those things have been coming through all the time. So it's quite interesting. You start with a real diversity of experience, and it comes down to a real commonality of experience.
I open the shop at 5 o'clock.
I get up at 4:30.
Morning prayers at 6, then into the van.
wake up 5:50,
into the shop for 7,
downstairs at 8,
waiting for the bread, Wonderland, Derby, Songless.
To actually start working on a show, knowing that in a month's time you're going to have the audiences in, and that you've got to do that telescoping of material down to create something that is both theatrical and truthful to what people have told you. It is quite scary. It is quite a scary thing to get involved in and do.
The starting point is getting the stories, is recording the stories and gathering them in. You never really know what that's going to throw up, so it's a complete surprise in what will come through. It's a really exciting way of working because you don't know until you actually start to listen to the interviews. You don't actually know what you're going to be creating.
So there was a really good story in one of them about a girl who'd come from Africa and how she heard people speaking her language and she followed them and went to a shop and all of a sudden she felt at home. And that's come through really strongly from the various things, how a shop becomes a kind of place where people from that community can meet. It's also the public face of that community. It's also a way of that community embracing the wider community.
Breads and cake.
Rob's from back home.
Polski's Club.
Didn't have a name.
It doesn't need a name.
New name.
New start.
I hand-painted my own sign.
S&M stores.
You can't call it that.
M&S.
But ultimately it is our job to make sure everything fits together. I mean, that's your job. I don't know, it's a bit like, your job is a bit like being a magician. You know, you put all the bits together, but you've got to make sure the trick works. And that's what our job is, to make sure the trick works, because it'd be no good having the designers working like mad downstairs and creating all these brilliant places if we didn't fill them with the right material so that it all worked. And it wouldn't be any good making a great piece of theatre if it didn't reflect what had gone on around, you know, if it didn't come from the interviews. And it wouldn't be, you know, similarly, it wouldn't be any use having a really dry piece of theatre that reflected the interviews but wasn't theatrical. So it is our job to make sure that the trick works ultimately, that we've got to be the people who can bring the bits together and make it happen. But we couldn't do that if we didn't have all the bits in the first place. So ultimately it's not the most important job. They're all the most important job. It's just a job, and our job is to make sure that we do that and that it does happen.
As evening papers, end of school rush, close at 6.
8, 9.
10.
Mop the floor,
Square the tail.
Down to the money.
Settle the books.
prepare for tomorrow.
Lights off. Set the alarm.
I open the shop at 5 o'clock.
I get up at 4:30.
Morning prayers at 6, then into the van.
Wake up 5:15.
Into the shop for 7. Waiting for the bread. Wonderland. Derby. Sunday.
Now, you're not like customers to me. You're more like a family, eh? Never to be forgotten.
You know this thing about having dirty hands? I'm not sure about it. But it doesn't, I don't know, it just feels a bit really sloppy. Did anybody actually ever say that?
Yes.
So what, they said, I didn't want to be a newsagent? Oh,
No. She says he had really dirty hands.
He wasn't black from the newspaper,
Was it?
he was black from the sacks of potatoes.
And was it Mary Collins said we don't want to be a newsagent because she didn't want to get up so early?
Yeah.
Was that better? Right, I don't want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I like the dirty hands. I like that idea, because you're trying to better yourself anyway.
I don't want to have dirty hands. Or
It's manual, isn't it?
And newspapers used to be really filthy as well, didn't they?
not only
What about early mornings? Such dirty hands.
early mornings? Such dirty hands.
Yeah, because she is a bit of a snob.